I'm going to start this recording early today. So welcome everyone to my third webinar to support you as you parent through the coronavirus pandemic. Today, for me, looking out around my house is starting out like a pretty good day. Kids got up and got on their schoolwork. One of them is already finished, and she's super excited because 2 days ago she worked on her schoolwork until 11 p.m. So she almost essentially gets a half day today of schooling. So she's pretty excited about that. And the rest of them are also doing pretty well. As we go on in this pandemic here in the US, well, actually here in the world, we're watching things shut down and close up, and we're being asked to go in and in and in into a smaller space, which is our homes. We watched Wuhan, China, go on severe lockdown back in January. Then as the virus spread around the world, we watched Italy go on lockdown, France go on lockdown, so many different countries going on lockdown. San Francisco went on lockdown. Parts of the suburbs of Chicago are on lockdown. And, the news is changing every second, every hour, every day, every hour, every minute, every second in some cases. And basically, though, what we're seeing, if you just look at all of the year 2020, is that the wave is just spreading around the globe. It's just happening. We're all experiencing what happened in China in a wave as it spreads around the planet. And today I want to talk about how this is a stressful time, to be sure. It's scary, it's uncertain. The way that our way of life as we knew it, is interrupted right now, if not irreversibly altered, perhaps. Who knows what life will look like when we get on the other side of this. But we have hit a major pause button in humanity, where we're not going about our daily activities. Our kids aren't going to school. Some of us aren't going to work. We're not taking the kids to soccer practice or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or band lessons or tutors. None of the things that we were doing before are happening. Stores are closing. This is a complete disruption to everything we thought life looked like. This, in some ways, allows us a chance to, it does allow us a chance to really look within and think about, take stock of our lives, take stock of everything from our finances to our activities, to our jobs, to our relationship with our children, to our relationship with ourselves, to our relationship with the environment. And how are we spending the moments of our lives? Are we spending them engaged in activities that we seriously want to be engaged in, or that our kids seriously want to be engaged in? I'm sure in some instances we would say yes, absolutely. But can we say that across the board? Are we engaged in things? Had we previously been engaged in things that don't bring us joy, don't bring us energy, suck the energy and the joy out of our lives? It feels like an obligation. It feels like a drain to us. How many of those things that we had previously been engaged in are we still going to continue to engage in once this virus has passed on once we've gotten a handle on, well, medically gotten a handle on it, whether it's through treatments and or vaccines or what have you. I read somewhere earlier this week or last week about the experience that we're having right now is very much like caterpillars going into the chrysalis before transforming into the butterfly. And I never read deeply about or researched deeply about caterpillars, but apparently right before they go into their chrysalis, they eat, they gorge themselves on food so that they can have reserves of calories once they go into the chrysalis and they're just still, so that they can get through that period of time where they can't eat, I guess almost like a bear in hibernation. But this author likened what the caterpillar does before going into the chrysalis to exactly what humanity had been doing for years, decades. We've been over consuming. We've been raping and pillaging the earth, depleting the earth of its vital nutrients. We've been ruining the soil. We've been cutting down trees. We've been polluting the environment individually and on a business level and on a government level. And we've been gorging ourselves as a human, as a species on this planet that allows us to live. And so we have a great opportunity to take stock of every single layer of our lives while we're in this shut down, closed down, stay home phase. I know some of us are actually in lockdown. Some of us are just trying to be as isolated as possible. I can't encourage shutting down enough because that's what will flatten that curve of the virus and hopefully get us through with less destruction. And yes, Lori, Venice waterways are more clear right now. I read an article where the swans are coming back and the dolphins are swimming over there, and you can see the fish swimming in the canals. I was in Venice, I guess it would be 15, 16 years ago, and it's one of my favorite places on earth. I love it there. I find it so hauntingly beautiful and emotional. I had such a strange feeling when I was there, but I'm intrigued by the town and I love it. And I remember the water, the canals were very much like the ocean on the Jersey Shore where I live. Green. You can't stand in waist deep water in the ocean and see your feet like you can in the Caribbean or further south in the Atlantic or the Gulf of Mexico. You can't see your feet because the water is not clear. And it was the same way in Venice. So I actually saw a picture of canal in Venice, and you could see the sand at the bottom. It was that clear. And I can't even imagine, having been there, I can't even imagine how beautiful that must be to stand on the edge of those canals and be able to see through the water. Just fabulous. The earth is certainly taking a big deep breath and a sigh of relief because of the amount of commerce and production that has been halted. Car manufacturers in Europe and the US are halting production, and people aren't driving as much because there's nowhere to go really, unless you're a healthcare worker, work at the grocery store, you need to go get food, or you're police or some other essential thing. People aren't driving. There's just not as much consumption right now. I know that some people are panic stocking up, panic buying at the grocery store, and I understand that. I wish they wouldn't, because we just have to have faith that the supply chain will be able to provide enough toilet paper for everyone, enough food to sustain us. It may not be the food we're used to. It may not be the food we want to eat, but it will be, we have to have faith that it will be enough, because if we don't have faith, what do we have? I mean, we'll be stocking up on ketchup or something. I don't even know what that would look like. Now, certainly people who have food allergies, or parents whose children have food allergies, like I know you deal with at home, Lori, that's certainly a consideration. And for people who have specific needs like that, I would definitely say that you want to make sure that you're getting the supplies that you need to keep your family healthy and humming right along. We certainly don't want to give a child with peanut allergies trail mix, because that's not going to work. So if you or your family members have food allergies, make sure that you are getting the things that you need. My friend in France, who is currently on lockdown, she and her husband eat gluten-free. They don't eat gluten. And she said last week when she was in the grocery store that the gluten-free aisle was almost untouched. Everybody was cleaning out the bread aisle and the rice and all this stuff, but the gluten-free products that she was looking to buy were in plentiful supply. So make sure that you stock up on the special stuff that you need. You know, things like medicine, special kind of foods that you must have because of allergies or because of health issues or anything like that. Definitely stock up on that. But if no one in your family has a food allergy, and no one has an underlying medical condition, and no one needs to eat a specific way for their own well-being, you know, like literally they can't eat certain foods, try not to panic buy, because you need to leave that stuff. You need to take just what you need, and then you need to save the rest of it for other people who also need a roll of toilet paper. So this is a great opportunity for us to just try to take a deep breath. Try not to let the fear take hold of us too deeply and control us and make decisions for us. Try to slow down, take care of ourselves, turn off the news for little bits of time if you can. Our kids don't need to be seeing it all the time, and we don't need to be seeing it all the time. And take this time, this precious time. This is the thing. We constantly, so many people constantly say, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have enough time, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. We've been given a gift, a precious gift of time, added time in our schedule. Yes, our schedules are disrupted. Yes, life as we know it is all up in the air and backwards and upside down. But all the things that we spend our time doing, all those activities, they're on hold right now. So we've been given a precious gift of time. Let's make sure that we use it so that we're making something good come out of this pandemic and come out of this time in the chrysalis, like the caterpillar. The caterpillar emerges as a beautiful butterfly, and we have that opportunity to do that now too. So let's see what we can do individually and collectively to come out of this pandemic far better than we were when we were thrown into it. So I think that's the message I want to leave with you today. Again, I will be here every day at noon, even through the weekends, just offering my ideas, answering questions, and supporting you however I can. It's the way that I feel like I can serve during this very challenging time in our world. So that's it for today, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye, Lori.